6 weeks, that's the average maternity leave in the United States. 6 weeks after giving birth, millions of mothers pack up, hand their newborn to a stranger, and go back to work. Not because they want to, because the system gives them no other choice. In Norway, that same mother gets 12 months, fully paid. And Norwegian children grow up to be the most securely attached in Europe. That is not a coincidence. Here's what happens to a child's brain in those extra 10 months that no one is talking about, and here's what you can do about it, even if your system gave you 6 weeks and a wait list. Now, before we get into Norway, I want to say something clearly. This video is not about guilt. If you went back to work at 6 weeks, you didn't fail your child. The system failed you. Present and available aren't the same thing. Time and attention aren't the same thing. And by the end of this video, you'll have 3 tools grounded in Norwegian philosophy and decades of attachment research that work regardless of how many weeks you had. But first, you need to understand what's actually at stake. Researchers at Harvard Center on the Developing Child have called the first 1,000 days of a child's life the most consequential window in human development. The neural connections laid down in this period determine how a child regulates emotion, handles stress, and builds relationships, not just in childhood, for the rest of their life. And here's the finding that stopped me when I first read it. Children who are securely attached at 12 months are significantly more likely to be securely attached 20 years later. 20 years. So what is it about that first year that shapes everything that follows? Norway has 3 principles for what they protect in that window, 3 ways of thinking and living that build secure attachment from the inside out. They have no direct translation in English. And none of them require 12 months of paid leave to use. The first principle starts with something so simple it almost sounds wrong. Stay with me. The Norwegians call it trygghet. In Norwegian, it doesn't translate neatly into English. The closest version is safety. But not the kind of safety we mean in the West. We think of safety as the absence of danger. Trygghet is something else. Picture a Norwegian mother on the floor with her 4-month-old. She isn't singing. She isn't playing. She's just looking. The baby looks back. 5 seconds. 10. She smiles slightly. The baby's whole body relaxes. That's trygghet being built, not the absence of danger. The presence of someone who is always there. An internal anchor the child constructs through one repeated experience. You are here. I am safe. Every time a child looks up to check if the parent is there, and the parent is there. A neural connection is laid down, not metaphorically. Literally, the amygdala, the brain's stress center, learns something it will carry for decades. Danger is not the default. Safety is. In the West, we measure parenting quality in activities, playgroups, stimulation, educational toys. Norway measures something different, not what you do with your child, whether you're there. Ainsworth and Bowlby spent decades documenting what happens when children have a consistently responsive caregiver in the first year. The result is called secure attachment. And it is. Across every study and every culture researchers have examined, the single strongest predictor of emotional health, relationship, quality, and stress resilience in adult life. Not IQ, not early literacy, not the right preschool, whether someone was reliably there in the first year. So here's what this means. If you went back to work at 6 weeks, trygghet isn't built in hours. 10 minutes of full presence after work, phone away, on the floor, eye contact, does more than 2 hours of being half there. The child doesn't measure time, they measure moments of being seen. Trygghet is the foundation. But attachment isn't just about being there, it's about what your child learns when you leave. The second principle will change how you think about independence. The Norwegians call it tilknytning. A 12-month-old crawls away from his mother, 3 feet, 4. Then he stops, looks back. She's there. He turns around and crawls further. That's not confidence. That's not personality. That's tilknytning at work. Tilknytning is the Norwegian word for attachment. But the translation misses something. In English, attachment sounds like holding on. Tilknytning is about the thread that allows a child to move away because they know it's still there. A child with strong tilknytning doesn't cling. They explore, not despite the bond, because of it. In the West, we sometimes confuse attachment with dependency. We want independent children, and we want it early. We encourage them to self-soothe, to sleep alone, to manage. And we do it out of love. But real independence doesn't come from being pushed toward it. It comes from having somewhere safe to come back to. You cannot push a child toward independence. You can only connect them toward it. Ainsworth's longitudinal research followed children from infancy into adulthood. Children who are securely attached at 12 months are significantly more likely to be securely attached as adults. More likely to form healthy relationships. More likely to regulate emotion under stress. The thread you weave in the first year travels with that child for the rest of their life. For working parents, this is the part that matters most. Tilknytning is built through returning, not through staying. Every time you leave and come back, and your child experiences, once again, she always comes back. The thread gets stronger. The goodbye matters as much as the hello. Leaving with calm instead of rushing out the door is one of the most powerful things a working parent can do, not because it feels good, because the child is watching how you leave. And learning whether the thread holds. Trygghet gives the child a sense of safety. Tilknytning gives the child the confidence to explore. The third principle is what holds both of them together every single day. And it has nothing to do with how much time you have. The Norwegians call it næret. And it starts the moment you walk through the door. A father comes home from work, bag on the floor, phone in his pocket. He doesn't check his messages. He doesn't start dinner. He sits down on the floor of the hallway. Eye contact, says nothing. His child crawls toward him. 5 minutes, fully present. That is næret. Næret is the Norwegian word for closeness. But not closeness measured in hours, closeness as a quality of presence. The belief that what matters is not how long you are with your child, it's what happens when you are. A child's nervous system doesn't experience time the way you do, it experiences states. The state of a parent who is truly there. The state of a parent who is physically present but mentally somewhere else. Children feel the difference before they can name it. Stephen Porges' research on the nervous system shows that a child's stress response literally co-regulates with that of their primary caregiver. A calm, present parent calms the child, not by doing anything, by being there. No app replaces that. No routine replaces that. And here's what I find almost uncomfortable to say. 5 minutes of real presence does more than 2 hours of distracted togetherness, not because the hours don't matter. Because the child doesn't count hours. They count moments of being truly seen. And this is where the question from the beginning of this video finally closes. What happens to a child's brain in those extra 10 months that Norway protects? A child learns that the world is safe, that the people they love always come back, and that they are worth being present for. So here's what this looks like in practice. 3 things, starting tonight. The first is the 10-minute rule. 10 minutes of full presence when you come home. Phone away, on the floor, eye contact, no agenda, not as a technique, as a signal. I am here now. You are the most important thing in this room. The second is the goodbye ritual. When you leave, leave with calm. Not with rush, not with guilt, not with one last anxious kiss at the door. A calm goodbye teaches your child one thing. She always comes back. And every time that's true, the thread gets stronger. The third is floor time, 5 minutes. On the ground, at their level, let them lead. Follow their gaze, respond to what they initiate. Trygghet, tilknytning, nærhet, safety, connection, closeness. 3 principles that build secure attachment from the inside out. So here's the only question that matters now. What will you do with the moments you have? If this video made you think differently about what your child actually needs, share it with a parent who needs to hear it. And if you want more on how the world's most securely attached children are raised, subscribe. There's a lot more coming.